I'm now joined by rugby legend himself, Keith Wood, and here we are standing on what will be the balcony of this International Rugby Experience. What an asset to Limerick City.
I know, it's something absolutely magic, but beautiful, isn't it? When you look at the quality of the work that's in behind us in the middle of a Georgian O'Connell Street, it actually fits in incredibly well.
And of course, to be from Limerick and to have this international, it's not just Munster, it is international with some massive names. Like, that is such a great thing because, you know, Limerick is associated with Munster and with rugby, but to have all these people donate the most amazing, incredible memorabilia, it's going to attract people from all over the world.
Well, there's a bit of memorabilia, but you wouldn't believe the amount of time and IP that all those players are willing to give, and past players, because they're interested in the idea of I really think exploring how great rugby was, the journey of rugby, remembering the history, and also being a part of a proper regeneration of a city. I mean, I started working just over there. That's where I started working 30 years ago. I know this place incredibly well. Limerick has gone a bit tired over the time, and there's been huge plans time after time, but sometimes you just need somebody to go and do something. And in fairness to JP, he, as he invariably does, delivers for Limerick. So look, he's totally enthralled with sport and he's totally enthralled with Limerick. So this is an opportunity to do both in the centre of the city.
And as well, you mentioned there the history of rugby. So you're talking, like, you know, rugby has changed so much in recent years, and for the younger generation coming up, they might not have known what rugby was like when it first began. So I guess this is a chance for them to learn about how it first began.
Well, there's a bit of education, of course there is, but there's also celebration for what it is, for what we have. And one of the things, again, back to JP, one of his ideas on this was he loves the fact that every man, well, it's every man and every woman now, can play rugby and does play rugby. You know, it was considered to be an elitist sport in other cities, never in Limerick. And that's a big part of it too. So the idea is to look at the game, to understand the game, to practice different parts of it, and some of the interactive ability of Inside Here is going to be amazing. We'll tease you with a thought of that, but won't tell you the full details. But we've got Event Communications who have developed the Titanic experience in Belfast. It's just exciting watching them work and how they go about it. So look, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it becomes. I can see it from the outside that the building is going to be magic, a cathedral to another cathedral in Limerick, but a cathedral to rugby, which is pretty amazing.
Well, as I say, I think Munster and Limerick is the home to rugby, so it's only right that we have this experience here to bring people over.
Yeah, I'm very careful to not say that. I would call it the spiritual home rather than just the home, so it kind of fits the bill for us. But look, it's something that the city needs. You know, we need the plans not to be shelved but to be worked on, and this is one of them. And like, this is a huge investment in the city. It's also a huge investment to all the other businesses in the city, because the knock-on spend that happens from sports tourists is very high, and we would hope that it generates a huge amount of income in the years to come for the other businesses in the city.
Absolutely, of course, Will. And before I let you go, I have to talk about the British and Irish Lions. I think it was just this morning the team was announced for the next test. Conor Murray, of course, being there, a proud Limerick man. Yeah. What do you make of the squad?
Look, I think the squad's good. I thought the performance at the weekend was, the first half was the way that the team was picked to play. It didn't work, so they changed it to another way. And I felt there was going to be a few changes because of that. The combinations aren't really fully linked yet, and there isn't the time to do it. So I think it'll be more of a lot of kicking, and I think it'll be unbelievably attritional. I think it's going to be a really tough one for the Lions at the weekend. I really do. I think South Africa will be better for having played a match. I wouldn't be betting against them at the moment. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely wonderful, though, to see so many Irish lads on the squad as well. And, you know, there was talks that the Lions wouldn't even go ahead, but thankfully it has gone ahead and we can support them from here, which is great.
No, we can. I don't play the Irish green card on that one. I think it's whatever the best players are that are there. I think when you look at the players that we have on the team, they're players who've performed all this year and have come back to some of their better play. And you see Jack Conan, very proud Leinsterman, and we can say that wearing the red of Munster down here, he just looks to the manner born. His performance is rising to a standard because he's playing with incredible players around him. So I think we're just happy to see the guys in the red jersey, in the Lions in this instance, doing very well.
And I'm sure plenty Lions memorabilia will of course be here in autumn 2022. Keith Wood, as always, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show.
Pleasure, Meghann.
I'm here with the CEO, Barry Hannon, of this International Rugby Experience. We're here on the balcony. What an incredible building this is and is going to be. But tell us how it's been like to get it to even this stage.
I guess, look, there's a lot of people that went before me that were responsible for pulling together a concept and turning it into the red bricks we see today. For us, I think we're just glad to be able to be out and talking about it now. It's been a rough 18 months pandemic-wise. A lot of stop and start on the building side, but it's all systems go now. We're delighted to be here, delighted to be launching social media this week and giving this project a voice now and being part of the city. So
30 million, that is a huge price tag, but that just, I suppose, gives an idea of what is to be expected in this experience.
Yeah, I guess at each step along the way, the question comes back, how do we make this the best it can be? And that's finding a world-class architect, it's building an iconic building, it's getting the best people in the world to curate the interior of this building. So at each step along the way, we're making sure this is the best that Limerick can bring to the market. We're looking to fill that gap because I think Limerick has a great offering tourism-wise. King John's Castle, the Hunt Museum, there's plenty of nice little museums, plenty of sporting, whether that's outdoors on the river, golf courses, greenways and everything, but we're looking for that gap in the market that is the audiovisual experiences, and look, I think we'll fill that market neatly.
Now, autumn 2022 is going to be absolutely incredible when this is fully open to the public. But even for now, it's hiring local people. It's getting people, working here, building this. And, there's a load of people around from Limerick as well, which is really great to see for the economy. Yeah,
and I think, look, even today as we stand here, there's 70, 80 people on site. As the building goes up, and we're only halfway up at this stage, so as we go up to the 8 floors, we're going to have 100, 120 people here by the time electricians, plumbers and all that come on board. And that's just the construction phase, I suppose. Beyond that, we're looking at 35 full-time hires, another 15 seasonal. So on a peak day, we'll have 50 employees in the building. And then, look, we'll have a knock-on impact on all the businesses around us. So we're looking at adding to the jobs in the local economy, because ultimately we're a not-for-profit, but what we see down the road is a busier coffee shop, a busier restaurant, a busier hotel, and actually some of the buildings around that have run into kind of dereliction, we see some of those being regenerated. And look, I think it's having that impact already. We see some buildings changing hands on Sesson Street. We see some other projects in for planning permission for change of use. So I think it is having the impact that we wanted even already. But in 2022, I think this thing is really going to take off. And this corner of O'Connell Street really will become a focus.
It's going to be incredible. Now, for those rugby fans, what can they expect from this experience?
I suppose we were conscious that we didn't want to just be the cliched whistle-stop tour of the history of the game. So what we're looking at here is building an experience around the values of the sport of rugby, and whether that's passion and telling people the grassroots of the game, the discipline of learning the skills, the integrity of and the ethics of learning the laws of the game, actually the solidarity and brotherhood and leadership skills that come with playing as part of a team, and then the respect of those players who've transcended the game and at that world-class level. We're teaching people those values as we go. So we're conscious that we're going to be something for the avid rugby fans, we're something for the casual future fans, as we're calling them. But ultimately what we want to be is a family-friendly, fun experience. And we know that if we give people a fun day out, this will spread like wildfire. We'll have word of mouth marketing around the world. So.
And can you maybe give us the name of some players that we can expect to see in here?
Yeah, so I suppose for today we're looking at all those legends of the game. We're talking about Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, so we'll have the Dan Carters of this world. We're talking different generations, so Willie John McBride will be a feature of the building. We're talking the men's and the women's game, so we've Joy Neville, Maggie Alfonsi and some of those names starting to appear. And we'll have legends of the 15s games, the 7s games, so we're making sure we're all things to all people.
And I suppose now that international travel is getting back open again and, we are moving forward to getting back to some form of normality, so can we expect some of these legends of the game to fly over to the museum?
Look, I think we'll have some exciting days out here. There will be unique event space within the building, so we're looking at a top floor with 360 views of the city. Each of the spaces around here, and you'll have had a quick look at it, but there'll be unique event spaces here. So we're looking at having different events over the years, whether that starts with the opening event, but beyond that we'll have lots of reasons to draw eyeballs to Limerick and ultimately draw footfall to Limerick. So we're looking at some of those legends of the game. You'll have met Keith Wood, Paul O'Connell, the chairman, and look, those guys are connected into a lot of different worlds, but ultimately bringing eyeballs to the city, I think we'll have a lot of exciting things happening in this building going forward.
I'll tell you, it's a very exciting time, and we at the Limerick Post are going to keep an eye on the progress along the way. Autumn 2022 is the date. Barry Hannon, CEO of the International Rugby Experience, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post show.
No, thanks for having us.